Good evening, it's now being 6:33. I'm going to open the Town of Halifax Planning Board meeting for October 1st, 2020. All members are present. Our first order of business is at 6:35. Tony, before I start that, has everyone looked at the agenda? Has anybody any questions on the agenda or any additions that I'm not aware of? No? Okay. Our first order of business is going to be Tony Muscolino, Local Larry's Tacos.
I'm Larry, I'm a local Larry's Tacos. Tony's my partner.
Okay.
What we're trying to do is put a taco trailer. It's 24 feet by 8 feet on the parking lot where the old Morgan's Power Equipment parking lot is. And I did, you know the parking lot I'm talking about, right? Right down the street here. Talk to the landlord. It's gonna lease it.
Just for clarification, Morgan's Power Equipment is further down.
No, the old building. We used to.
Okay. Do you have a street address?
Excuse me?
You have a street address for that? A street?
A street.
The address, and we know it's across from the post office, but for the record, okay, you don't have the address.
I think it's 270 Plymouth Street, right? I'm trying to.
Yeah.
It's Plymouth Street, but it's not on 270.
I'll look
Okay.
it up for you, Larry.
Yeah, I went to go get all the information that was already gone
Okay.
off the landlord, you know what I mean? So
Okay.
I had to measure the lot myself. It's like 30 feet this way, 156 feet the long way.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so what it is, it's just a mobile trailer, I'm not building anything. It just has its own power, quiet generators, you know, what I mean? They've got the Predator generator, very silent. I'm just trying to give the town something new, you know what I mean? I got my serve safe, my license, I got the board health certificate, ready to Bob, the town, all that stuff, everything's fast. We just got done doing a horse show down the street, and I'm a resident, I live on 71 Carver Street. I noticed the town didn't have tacos in it, you got 5 pizza shops, you know what I mean? I figured we bring something that's really good here, you know what I mean? You know, I want to see something do well in this town, you know?
Excellent. You looking at it permanent or just for temporary?
3 days a week, because I do shows. You know what I
Okay.
mean? It's not going to be there permanently, it's just, it'll be there one day, and I'll be posting when it's going to be there. And let the
Okay.
followers know, the town know when I'm going to be there at certain days.
Yeah, so just as like a formal thing, we'd like to know like what those hours would end up being.
Yeah,
Obviously,
it would be
we'd hold
lunch.
you to it if you would, you know what I mean, but you definitely need like a potential start and an end and what days of the week, just to have something.
Yeah, there'll probably be one weekend day, it'll be breakfast and lunch.
Okay.
And the weekdays will be like lunch till dinner, like.
Yeah, like closing by 8, 9 o'clock or something
Yeah,
like
it'll
that.
probably close about 6:37.
Okay, just because we're gonna have to leave, we can't just leave it open-ended. We're gonna have to have something, just so you're not open until 1 or 2 in the morning.
No,
You know,
no,
if
no.
you know what I mean, we just have to
Yeah,
have that.
absolutely, I get it.
Noted, if you know what I'm
Yep.
saying.
Any questions?
Not yet.
No, what about, do you have to put a porta potty there or anything like that, or is that?
No, it's takeout, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just go to the window, you order, you take it, you go, you know what I mean? So-
Yeah, no seats, no picnic tables.
No, not like
Okay.
that. No.
Yep.
What about as far as how many cars pulling off and parking there, is that gonna be?
Well, it seems like there's plenty of parking, that's why I did the measurements, I could tell you, it was 30 feet this way, so if I trailer sideways, it's only 8 feet, but the rest of the lot, you got about 152 feet, you know what I mean? You can probably park about 30 cars in there, you know, so.
Uh-huh.
And no problem, and it's not like it's one way in, you can go in all the way around.
Right.
So it's not like one way in and causing traffic to get out, it's wide open, it's all.
Oh, yeah, no curb in front.
Exactly, you can turn in and out all the
Yeah, I
whole
know what
lot,
you're
you know?
Okay.
Larry, I believe that it's 5:46.
546, correct. I got this, I worked late today in my other business in Boston. He was already gone, so I got there.
Gordon, any questions?
How have you been doing at the horse show? Have you had a lot of happy
Oh
customers?
my God, we sold out 3 times. I actually tripled you and I still sold out.
Are you doing
When
like,
Bob came over, he had something that was amazing. I was like, I hope everything goes well. Like, I do too, you know, we'll see. You know, so I think the town could do something new, right?
yeah, you're doing like fresh veggies and
Fresh
really
everything.
good quality
It's what I made right
everything.
there. You can see me making fresh pico de gallo, You know, we got a rice cooker, we do our jasmine rice, you know, everything's there, we get little music going, make happy, you know, make people happy, make them around, something positive to the town, you know?
Fun.
Yeah, like all the cooking, all the food storage is all contained.
I got 2
in the
major
truck.
fridges inside there, and I got a giant fridge in my garage in my house.
All right, so everything was ready.
And I'm on a
to
commercial
stay,
B
right?
zone, so it's in my garage, it's all protected and all that stuff, so.
Okay.
And I only buy enough I need for the day or two, so I don't need all that storage. It's a small trailer, you know?
Okay.
It's not a restaurant, it has restaurant equipment, obviously, but it's, you know, I'm just here to get your approval, you know?
Gordon, any questions?
So you talking no weekends or?
I'll be doing like maybe every other weekend, one weekend day, mostly the weekdays. If I do a weekend, it'll be breakfast in the morning and then lunch till like 3 or 4 o'clock, you know what I mean? And then if it's a weekday, it'll be lunch until dinner, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
most weekends
what I
I'm
would
booked up.
suggest is kind of, if you give yourself the biggest window that's acceptable, and then if you're there
Yeah,
or not, if you know what I mean.
I mean, I'm getting booked up like crazy, so I have to slow the calendar down. And I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? Let me just get my planner going here before I open the calendar anymore. I mean, I'm pretty much booked on most of the weekends going up until the end of November. So I'm trying not to book it and shut the calendar off until I come here and figure out what's going to happen here, you know? I'd love to give you guys something great here, you know what I mean, in this town. I live here, you know what I mean?
I love that.
I gotta be honest with you, I mean, I'm sick of eating pizza.
Right.
And it's all that's here, you know, it's like, I mean, I love lines, but it's like lines, I love going over there, I love Grill 58. Pizza, pizza, you know what I mean? I'm sure you guys are sick of it too, you know what I mean? It'd be nice to have a change.
I think it's one of the biggest jokes on Halifax locals, pizza, 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 pizza.
Yeah, they said, please, no more pizza. They asked, I said, how did the town feel? I put it on Halifax local, how would you feel if the tacos? And then you've seen it. It blew up, you know, they absolutely. Tacos all day, you know? Everything we use is Angus. We have fried haddock tacos, you know, with the cabbage and sliced radishes, the chipotle mayonnaise, amazing. And they got the pulled pork, barbecue smoked pulled pork, so we get that through Reinhardt, which is professionally smoked the right way, and we get it in the big bags. And it just melts in your mouth, it's amazing. So we get everything, we got this top of the line food, we're not putting cheap stuff on there.
Any other questions from the board? I think what you're looking for is for us to waive our site plan requirements. And I don't know if you read them, they're fairly extensive. I think, and you know, it's up to the board, we should have a little something in writing from you
Yep.
requesting a waiver of our site plan requirements. But we also need, as Mark had said, your hours of operation, when do you think you're going to be there? We're not it's not going to be cast in stone.
Yep.
But we don't want to get a call that you're there at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night and it's creating a traffic jam. So
Yeah.
I would think, and again, it's up to the board, that if you can submit to us,
Also, how many people, if it's just you running it, if you just make a note of that too?
No,
Or if you
we-
plan on
we-
having employees, just a note of how
Yeah.
many different people you think might be working there at the time. And
yeah, if you're not going to be running it, well,
Well, it depends on how busy it's gonna be, that's plays in effect.
Yeah, that, again, so like, I would suggest giving yourself like a good window. So if you think like 4 might be the most, just like come out with 4 because it's not an issue and that way you're covered, if you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying.
Okay,
You're better off, you know, getting permitted for the best case scenario.
okay, I see what you're saying, all right.
I also believe that we should get a sketch of the parking lot and draw in where you plan.
Yeah, I was trying to get it to him today, and he wasn't there, I had to go measure it, So, just so I could tell you exactly how big the lot is, you know. So
Yeah,
you got a
if you-
24 by 8 trailer, you know, 152, 156 foot this way, 30 feet that way, and that's not even going over the sidewalk, that's from inside the sidewalk to the building is 30 feet.
Well, it's kind of good because you're going into a location that's already worked as a commercial business, so, you know, we already know that there's a parking lot that it serves.
Yeah.
And that helps.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I ran into the guy who owns the property, and we were just talking about it, and you've got to talk to a truck, we should put something here, we need something here, I was like, I'd love to, you know what I mean? I was like, of actually looking to put someone in this town. I mean, I've been doing the shows right now, so,
Yeah,
and I went to Bob and all that stuff, the surf safes, all that stuff, and Board of Health. I just had to come in front of you guys to see what you need me to do.
yeah, so really, it's that formal list of hours, employees, and a sketch of the parking and how many spaces you think you can provide.
Yeah, I mean, all right, well, I'd have to put that in writing and figure that out.
Yeah, just so we have something on record,
Okay, yeah.
we're gonna need that.
When's the next meeting? In a month from now?
No, it's in 2 weeks.
October 15th. Maybe we could get the site plan for the building that's on site at 546, and you could draw it on that.
Yeah, you can do that. The sooner the better, you know what I mean?
We should be able to get that somehow.
Was
Yeah, I
was
think we're-
546 site permitted once Morgan's left there? And this new guy took over?
I didn't, not that I was.
I do have one question. Is the trailer going to be strictly temporary? You're going to drive in, you're taking it home at the end of the day, you're leaving it there for a day or
Well,
two?
if I'm there for 2 days, I'm gonna leave it there overnight for the next day, and then I'll take it out of there. And I won't leave it all week, you know what I mean? It's just going for the days I'll be working.
Okay.
And because I live right around the corner, I'll just tow it right back to my driveway.
Yeah, so no permanent setup.
No, it's not gonna turn
And
into.
is the trailer going to be somewhere towards the back fenced-in area? Is that where you're
Well,
going
that's
to
what I'm here
put?
to find out where you guys want me to put it, because I don't know how you want it set up, you know what I mean? So I need
It
to,
should be back so it doesn't obstruct the view pulling in and out.
okay, so it should be set back closer to the building, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
as close as possible.
Yep, so how many feet you gonna give me to the building? Is it
As
3
close
foot?
as you can get it and
Okay, well,
set
that's
it
fine,
up.
I mean, I
That
don't
would
do
be
that,
best.
you know?
You know, this is a temporary type structure, so I guess my concern would be, is cars coming in and out. I mean, if you're fairly busy, people are going to have a tendency to just come in, park wherever they want to, so you might have a little jam up with parking.
You mean like Dunkin' Donuts?
Yeah. Now, you're not going to have any outside tables. This is
No.
strictly going to be takeout.
Yeah,
Okay, so there'll be no outside seating.
I know that, you can't have
Okay.
seating because you need bathrooms and stuff like that.
Okay, so none of that, yeah. I would think, and if you can't get a site plan for 546, you might be able to have someone take the assessor's map, blow it up, and do a sketch there.
Okay, yeah.
However you want to
Google
do it.
Maps, some of that answers.
Yeah, that would work.
And doesn't he have, he should have a plot plan when he bought the property, I believe, right?
Well, that's up to you and the owner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
possible.
No,
Worth checking.
I would think he had a site plan if he had a business there, though.
Yeah,
Not, Morgan's has been there for 40, 30 years? No, they were there, they've been there at least 25 years. I don't even think site plan was in when Morgan's first moved in there. 'Cause that was a repair shop.
they do gutters now in that building.
Right, when he changed it from Morgan's to Gutters, there might be a site plan.
Yeah,
That I'm not sure of. So, I mean, you can always check with the office, the planning board office, the secretary, and see if there's something on record. Something on record, you can sketch on that. If there isn't, then just do as a sketch. The other thing you might want to do, if you're going to put the trailer back, and you're going to need some sort of temporary sign to let people know, then you really need to clear that with the building department.
yeah, okay, yeah.
So, this is very extensive. What you should do is a sketch and just submit a letter saying that you were going to ask us to waive all our site plan approval requirements.
All right, yep.
And
I could
again,
draw
there's some,
where I plan on putting the trailer closer to the building and have that drawn out, the measurements of that as well. So you
Yeah,
can-
all that stuff helps.
yeah, all this stuff helps. And just leave enough room so that you can get some cars in.
Oh, it's easy to get in because it's all open. The whole lot is open.
Yeah,
If I'm set back, I'm not blocking
But it
anything.
needs-
You're in a
you need
straightaway
traffic
area there.
pattern.
Honey?
You need a traffic pattern as to what.
Yeah, because, you got 35-mile-per-hour zone, even though there's a police station there. There's been accidents there. People travel fairly quick, so we need to know if they're going to be coming in, going east, then you need just to make sure you got some parking areas so that when people come in, they can pull right in. If they're coming in from the west, then they can park on this side, so they can leave, exit and enter.
Yeah, not be
Well, I was
back.
planning to put like right in the center, so that way you have both ends, you know what I mean? In and out.
However you want to, we just give you some ideas on the site plan, just so that you put it on there and
We can take a look at it and tweak it from there.
correct.
Yeah, the sooner the better.
If you
People
sub-
blow my phone up the whole town, like, hey, yeah, like I gotta do everything
If you can get it submitted fairly quick, we'll take a peek at it and if you make any adjustments, prior to our next meeting.
All right, so I can bring it over to the town hall for you guys, or?
You'll have to contact the planning board secretary's office, Joanne.
Yep.
She'll make arrangements for you to drop it off. However, if she wants you to send it by PDF, or you want to drop something off at town hall, then she'll contact us to go and take a look at it.
All right,
If you can
And
send
then-
it electronically, then she can send it out.
yeah, I can email, or I can just walk, I live right there, I can just drop it off.
Okay. If you can do it electronically, that'll save her a bunch of steps.
Okay, yeah,
And then we can individually blow it up ourselves and take a peek at it. And just do a request in there waiving those requirements. And we'd probably like a time frame.
yeah.
Where if we're gonna waive all the requirements, we need to know if you're gonna be there.
Well, I wasn't sure
Christmas
how it's
Eve.
gonna go, so that's why I can't
Okay.
really plan something, I'll send it what you guys are gonna do.
Okay, well, I think the general consensus from the board is that, we like to see the business. I don't eat tacos, but that's okay. Any other questions?
No.
Now, your name again was, you're not Tony.
I'm Larry
Larry, what?
McDonald. Lawrence McDonald. Lawrence McDonald?
Oh, Lawrence McDonald.
Yep.
For the record.
You think it's Mount-
MC or MA?
MAC, like Full McDonald, Halifax.
Okay, any other board members got any? Any comments?
Good.
Okay, I mean, I think you got a general consensus that we're okay with it, just provide us some paperwork so that
Absolutely.
we know
Just so you can see the clock.
your name, address. I would suggest you submit not your serve safe, but I'm sure you've got a permit from the,
Bob, what help?
yeah, I do recall you got a
Did
been
the
a while
inspection
ago.
already, yeah.
Okay, just include that in there and come in and see us the next time. Like I say, the sooner you get it in, the sooner we can all take a look at it. So if there's anything, we can get it back to you before the next meeting.
Absolutely. All right, good. So, do anybody have a card or anything, I can email it to her, or email address I can send?
You can
Best
check,
thing to do
you
is
can,
call her and
I'll
ask her.
write down her email address for you right there.
I appreciate it, thank you.
or it's on the town website.
Okay. Thank you, Amy. I'll get this over right away.
Okay.
Stop by and see him if you want to see the rest. If not, I'll do that draw out. I'll send it. All right, guys, thank you.
Thanks,
Good luck.
Larry.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Webby.
Evening, Joe Webby, Webby Engineering. And, we've been working on the piece of property for the Bootleys at 279 Wood Street. Currently, there's a dwelling on this lot, which we labeled Lot 3, and we would like to create two new lots, Lot 1 and Lot 2, that will have more than the 150 feet of frontage and more than the 40,000 square feet of upland.
Joe, I have just one question, and I'll put it on to the board, because I couldn't find it. I know that there's been a change in the shake factor, and I couldn't find it in my book. Obviously, there's a regulation on the shake factor, and I didn't find it. Is it
I believe it's 30 or higher.
30 or higher? But what's the shake factor? I mean,
It's
is
the
the regulation?
area divided by the perimeter.
One or the other, but yeah.
The area divided by the perimeter, and then whatever that total is, has to be above.
Higher than 30.
30.
And I think for retreat lots, it's something else.
Yes, it is.
Okay, is that part of the regulations yet? Okay, I didn't find
Yeah,
it.
it's tough to find.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we're trying to, where the factor came from.
So this is what it looks like, this is what you want to create.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
Well,
what?
not me, but the Bootmans.
Well, yes, I know. But do you have something what it looks like now, so I can kind of understand it a little bit better? I'm sure you did.
Sure, it's this piece of property without these two lines.
Okay, thank you.
If you don't, it's one
Well,
big piece of property.
I think the reason I'm confused is because it said lot 4 somewhere? Does every, you know, that's what, or I heard that.
Right, it's lot, right, currently it's lot 4 on your assessors map 118.
That's where I got it. And I was seeing 1, 2, 3, and that's, okay, I'm on board.
My recollection is correct, Joe. The lot numbers are defined by the assessors, am I correct?
They can be, we did check with them, I honestly don't know, it's, sometimes we do letters, sometimes we do lot numbers, and then they assign lot numbers.
So whatever you assign these will have to be okayed by the assessors.
That's correct.
So I just got a question, just to make sure. Both lot number 1 and lot number 2, the frontage?
Yeah, they're both the same, they are both.
They're
the same.
identical. Okay, I just want to make sure that wasn't an error. It's just very unusual to see that they're actually identical.
Yeah, we basically took, we were trying to get 3 lots there, but we couldn't do it.
Okay.
We just took that frontage and split it because we needed to get the area, we needed to make them a little wider to get you 40,000 square feet of upland, the BVW.
Okay, I just want to make sure it wasn't just
I checked those myself.
straighten the
I thought
error
that
or
was,
some other issue. Does anybody have any questions, or are you still reviewing? I think we're still.
So is that wetlands running right through it?
yeah, I have it as a blue line on my plan. There's wetlands, and then that's the BVW, bordering vegetated wetlands, and then the other line behind it is the mean high water, which would be the riverfront. So we've got issues with the conservation. You have to create a lot first.
But the 40,000 square feet is contiguous upland in the back?
No, contiguous upland in the front.
In the front.
Yeah, it looks like everything in the back must be in that riverfront.
Yeah,
I did
everything
see
from
the-
blue
Yeah,
that way
It's all wet.
is yeah, major wet. When it touches the river wet.
Well, they seem like they meet the criteria.
So what are the different flood zones saying, Joe? Different flood zones, what's the deal with that?
That actually is a FEMA zone. So the FEMA zone line goes right along this area. That's federal.
Okay. That's an
AE means that it's an A zone, 100-year flood,
right,
but it has an elevation that the feds have established.
okay.
If you have an A without an E, then it's up to the locals to decide where that line is.
Right.
And most of the time, it's at the BVW.
Right.
When they have an E, then that means.
So then you get to a flood zone X, what's,
Zone
X.
X is 500-year flood,
okay.
so that's good.
So this thing's high and dry then pretty much.
Yeah, this is actually pretty beautiful.
Yeah, right.
And we actually have perked these 2 lots already.
Would that AE line change with our new regulations coming on? There was a new floodplain map. Is that subject to change that at all, or just informational
I
purposes?
think this line, I think the latest one FEMA has is, I wanted to say 2016, so I don't know.
Okay, we just got something we had a bylaw
They
change,
waived.
something in our memo today that there's something about the floodplain change.
We just waived those bylaw changes at our hearing in July or August, whenever it was. Out of curiosity, how did the parks go? Are they gravity-fed systems?
Oh, yeah, they're all, you've seen it. The water table's moderately high, but 5, 6 feet. So they're not gonna be looming, but they're gonna be.
I'm just curious.
It's
It's
the
a lot
board.
of frontage, so that's gonna be plenty of room to fill, make it work.
What's the board's pleasure?
Make a motion to approve final lands in Halifax for Edward Boatman Trust on Wood Street being
What are you looking for?
Map 118, lot 4.
Okay, being map 118, lot 4, drawn by Webby Engineering.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I'm looking for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 5-0. Joe, you want to hang around? We'll sign this?
No,
What do you
can you
want?
just, I've got another meeting.
Oh, okay, fine.
Did you?
Fine, we'll sign this before we,
Very
and I know
good.
there's
Yeah,
a
I
bunch
can
of-
always pick it up from the
Okay.
town.
thank you.
Very good. Thank you, guys.
You got a copy of that,
Right here, so. Why don't I'll sign this one. Yeah, I'll sign this one, and we'll send this down.
I think those were just for us.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just for your,
This is,
I'm gonna go to my right, then I'll go to my left. For the black, I thought there was a fine one.
I have one.
Is that fine?
I'll get it. My parents would be bad.
Thank you. I'll sign the plan and send it down this way. Today is 10/1/20. And we'll sign. Is there supposed to be two Mylars?
No, one.
One Mylar.
I'm not sure.
We usually sign 2 of the plans.
Okay.
Send those back, I'll send them down there for signatures.
Here, fine, yeah.
Two of these? Okay.
I'll get this one going.
Yeah, unless you want the back one. I sent it down there with this that way. Let's see, oh, he's got it. Hold on. This is the one you sent?
Yeah, I'll stop this one.
Okay, set that.
back here to dry, you know what I mean? Do you want to just stack those with this? You know what I mean?
All these have, yes, thank you.
And then we'll be all together?
Okay, our next order of business is pasture lane status. I know that everybody's gotten the emails, and I think Gordon had reached out
Do you need
to,
this one signed too, the one I have?
no, that was just for your office. Yeah. I think Gordon had reached out or sent an email regarding the status on that, and it's my understanding that the building department has, okay, correct me if I'm wrong, that the building department is okay with the building or the lot configuration the way that it is, and that they will be issuing a building permit at some point. I believe that there might be an issue with the septic design, so that has to be resolved. And when I did speak with the developer, once those two issues are resolved, he will bring us in, I believe, a punch list, as we has indicated, and Gordon had worked on this with the conditions of the road that need to be upgraded and how they're going to be upgraded, and that no work is going to be completed, or the building permit will not be issued until all the work is going to be completed on the road. Is that correct, Gordon?
Yeah, that's the standard procedure that we do anyways.
Okay.
So this lot right now is being held in lieu of the finish of the road. So the way it works is they either finish the road or they put a bond up for that amount of money before that could be released for them to do the road. The developer has agreed that he's going to finish the road and then look for the lot to be released after that.
Okay.
So I had called looking to see what the determination was, because the factor that was holding the whole thing up was the building department put a question as to whether or not it was buildable. They've gone through that issue and decided that it is buildable. So now I did get in contact with John Paquette and informed him that that was the case. He said that he was going to get us a list of the things he was doing and give us a time frame. He wants to jump on it right away. He didn't think he could get it to us today, but maybe tomorrow morning he'll email in the list, and so that he can schedule to come before us, get everything squared away and be going.
Good. And that's basically what he told me, so hopefully there's a light at the end of that tunnel. I did have a message from one of the neighbors down there, and basically I told her what I'm telling the board now. I guess they're all complaining about car damage and so forth and so on, but that's really not an issue that we can deal with, so hopefully there's some light at the end of that tunnel. Next item under discussion is verbatim meeting minutes. We had discussed this, and there was a question as to whether the meeting minutes, regular meeting minutes, were going to be verbatim or just the hearing only. So I guess what's the board's pleasure? Maybe I'll start with you, Amy, because you had the, you were the one that were concerned.
I was?
Yeah, on the verbatim meeting minutes?
I believe that it was a board decision prior to you being on the board, not my concern.
Okay, so how does the board want to handle this? Do they want to have, I want to say generic minutes? I did get something from the Attorney General's office because I'm on their list, and I did have Joanne forward that. And it's got sort of a breakdown on
Yeah, I read it.
how you're supposed to keep all the minutes. And typically, you know, every period and every comma is not in there. Ours are very lengthy, as you can see when we go over the minutes. I prefer to go with the generic ones, but it's a board decision.
As far as I'm concerned, the way we've been doing it, I think it works. As long as I've been on the board, that's the way the planning board's done it. I don't think it's overly extensive, we don't put everything in there. The verbatim part that you had on here, the only part that came up verbatim was for hearings, not for our general meetings. But the way we've been doing the meeting minutes, I would suggest that we continue to do it that way.
And that would be how, just so that I know.
So it's not verbatim, it's just
It's not verbatim.
kind of like in between.
Okay, that's fine.
So it says here, to be accurate, meeting minutes must accurately reflect the disclosures that took place during a meeting. The open meeting law does not require that statements contained in a meeting minutes be factually
Right,
true.
they just have to be.
To the contrary, because the minutes must accurately capture the discussions that actually took place.
And I believe that's the way our minutes have been.
So the only thing that we had discussed and changed was hearings in our last board, before you
So
and
how do
Rick.
we want to handle that? To me, the hearings are probably worse than the regular meeting minutes to try to capture, but it's whatever the board wants to do.
I mean,
If you want to
Keep them
do
all
the
the same.
hearings the same as we do the regular minutes.
I'm not, have we got, well,
We've had-
we've done a couple, right, that have been done verbatim.
yeah.
They weren't completely verbatim.
Like, did they, I was gonna say, I don't know if we have to try it, I mean, if we've already made the change, we gotta at least try it before
Change it
we
again.
change it again, if you know what I mean. Like, I've been against it, but I'm not gonna change it back until we at least know whether or not it's better at this
Okay,
point.
so is it the board's pleasure to try to go verbatim with hearings?
Just the hearing.
Yep.
If it doesn't work out, we can adjust, because I don't think we've done it yet.
And that's going to be all public hearings.
Mhm.
Okay. Everybody's okay with that?
Yep.
I don't think we need to vote. So, okay. Next item for discussion is meeting start time. Mark and I had a discussion a few weeks
Yeah.
ago, and I was under the impression that the planning board meetings always started at 6:30 because the Board of Health does. But I'm finding that if I look at some of the old meetings, they usually start at 7:30. So I'm just bringing it up for discussion as to what the board's pleasure is. I know it might be a little conflicting, or it is, I guess it has been conflicting for Mark, so I'm gonna let you
Yeah, I
take over
figured,
from here.
now that we have a couple different people to see if it was reasonable for everyone, now that it's different people. I would like to go back to 7:30, if enough people agree. If not, you know, I mean, I continue to try to get it as best as I can. I usually am, but if everyone is open to it, I would prefer.
We had a member before that wanted the 6:30, and that's what we kind of changed to. And so now, I mean, we were 7:30 for most of the time I've been on the board for 20 years.
Maybe 7:30 an issue?
I like 6:30 because it's dark already for the rest of the year. We see how the winter goes and then maybe think about it when it gets towards like
Yeah,
light
that's the
hours.
thing, like all summer, we were doing 6:30, and it's like, it's tough, especially when it's really nice out.
Oh, well. I always want to be out on my kayak longer, but you know.
Either or, 7:30 is.
Well,
Both.
no, in the wintertime, I prefer it to be
But-
6:30.
I mean, typically our meetings don't really go very long. I mean.
Yeah, even at 7:30, on
I'll
9:30.
say that, and then.
It'll be longer.
We won't hold you to it, but you're right, I mean, when we were meeting at 7:30,
Right.
I'll take this down. We had very few that actually went to 9:30, 10 o'clock, you know.
Except the last fall.
Very, but yeah, very, very rarely though.
We were there from 6:30 to 10:30 a lot.
So I guess the question is, it's probably harder for you, Gordon, you guys are still working all the time, Rick, get home, finish your day, and get back. I don't have a problem whether it be 6:30, 7, or 7:30. Do you want to maybe try
Split the difference?
7?
Yeah, just split the difference.
If
go
that's
7.
okay with everybody, that gives you guys that are out,
Yeah,
yeah, it helps you, it helps Gordon, it helps you, because, you know, if you're working till 5, you gotta go home and change, and you really don't have enough time to go through the volumes of emails that come through in a couple of week periods, so I'm open for discussion, if that works for you. That's kind of splitting the difference and gives these guys a little time to, I think Mark had indicated that he tries to look at the material the day of the meeting. And if that's the case, we'd have to start at 9. I mean, because there is a lot of emails and stuff that goes through. What's the board feel there?
7 o'clock's fine for me.
All right. If you want, I'll take a vote. If someone wants to make a
It's
motion,
necessary to vote it.
I'll make a motion that we start the meetings at 7.
Second.
okay, we'll go to the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. Just briefly, for those that weren't at town meeting, Article 48, which is the multifamily bylaw, it was decided by the selectmen to pass over that particular article. And Article 49, as we know, this board had a hearing and we voted 3-1 not to recommend it. Town meeting overruled us, so we are going to be potentially looking at site plan review for some sort of a marijuana establishment. And I can only suggest that having looking through, and I hope the other members will look, to look at our bylaw on site plan review. I mean, we have no fee structure, we have no, there's nothing in there for any inspections, certifications to make sure that everybody's doing what they're doing. And this has nothing to do with the marijuana part. And I think we ought to consider that in the next few months. So we can make sure that whatever site plans we're doing, someone inspects them, they're followed through in a year or two, and then any change in use, we'd be able to look at that.
We don't have anything written in there,
I didn't see anything in there.
but we have in the past requested it and had it done.
Well, I don't know that we need to change the bylaw, but we could probably at a minimum establish a policy that we can amend from time to time. I would think that would be sufficient if we come up with some policies. Fees, obviously, if,
Well, the fees, you probably would have to have that be voted.
well, I don't know, because if you've got a small project like this gentleman just had, and I don't want to get way off, you know, that might be a $100 fee, whereas we got a O'Reilly's that might be a $500 fee, because someone's going to have to go in and verify that all the conditions are met.
But that would be out of the revolving account.
Yes, the money would go in, but I would think that the board,
So typically what we do with revolving account, we don't have a fee. Like if you come in here with a subdivision, we don't have a fee. It goes to the review engineer, the review engineer reviews it, sends the bill. There is no structure for how much that's gonna be.
and as with subdivisions, we now run into problems because no one's following through with that. So,
No.
well,
No, so
I think,
usually on that, if the account gets low, usually they get notified, and then at the end, once the project is canceled, then it's just cleared out.
correct, but I'm talking more on the site plan. I mean, how do we verify that?
We send it out to review.
No, we got a situation where we got a waiver here, okay? We're gonna come in with a sketch. Who's to verify, or who should get down to double check that the trailer's where it's supposed to be, track the patterns? We're not having a problem. It's only food for thought. I think the board should look at that.
Enforcement comes through the building department, with the site plan.
That's you saying if we waive the site plan, then we don't have a review engineer reviewing the site? Is that the?
Nothing, even if you got a change in use, specifically, you know, we're gonna talk about Amy Dwyer, because she's not occupying that. You know, you've got an existing site plan, someone wants to move in, we can probably use that old site plan, but it should be kind of updated, where they're gonna park, so forth and so on. And I would think that we should be able to do that without town meeting approval, and even with the fees, or who's to establish that they're working from 8 to 8 or 9 to 9 or whatever.
But if we issue the site plan, we put the regulations on there, and the building department enforces.
Okay. All right, we'll look at that.
So, I mean, it's not that we don't have oversight, we have oversight. We can put those requirements into the site plan,
Okay.
okay?
Now, the
So
building
then
department,
there's a change in use, and they come back, and, you know, we're the ones that take a look at that site plan, as far as parking.
does the building department have an annual inspection?
I don't
No.
believe they do.
No, so the only time that it's gonna go out, if he gets a complaint, then he's gonna go out.
Yeah.
I just think to be able to look at that, and see if, I don't know how, I know that building departments are now being overwhelmed.
I know on the other thing, usually if we're, on the times that I can think of and remember that we've ever like waived one, it's usually for something that's probably not permanent, and there's usually an end to the permit. Usually it's by time, like I believe that was with the hot dogs, things like that, where it's, we've always had an end to the permit. So it's always been for 6 months and then extensions and things like that, which always give us a chance to review it again at that time.
And who inspects it?
Well, not that we do a physical inspection, but
If it's complaints.
that's one.
I just like to have it.
Amy's got something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I have an idea on the whole Larry's tacos. So he's gonna draw it out on either a site plan or an assessors plan, so we can use that and then write down everything we think and have a checklist that can go to the building department and also stay in the planning department, the planning board department, then that, folders, that way that will take care of, because I mean, we're not really giving them a complete waiver, but it's hard to give them a complete site plan when it's temporary, so like we can use our think out of the box skills and take that site plan that he's making with the assessor's maps or, the site plan that exists and write down all of the rules and regulations so that the building department knows if they get a complaint about something, what we had said. And then I love the time limit idea of the 6 or the 9 months so that we can come back and review it. I think that's fabulous.
Okay.
And that keeps it going on.
But
Yeah, and-
usually the request to issue without the site plan is there is a site plan already been done. Because site plan, we're dealing with the drainage, the parking, and all of that. There's a parking lot already there. So we don't really have to look at the drainage for the parking lot and all that stuff. We're looking for the use on top of that, and it's,
If that site can satisfy the needs of the proposal, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
but
So-
there's nothing limiting us to writing something up to limit him for what he can do there.
Okay.
Didn't we just waive a site plan for, I can't remember the address, but the liquor store up on the, at the Gentiles old store there?
Yeah, again, it's another one where they already had some stuff, it was a pre-existing
Right,
situation.
just talking.
Yeah, that had an original
Yeah,
site plan
same.
from years ago. I wasn't involved with that. Okay. All right, food for thought.
So that was gonna be changed in use, but it's really reverted back to what it was.
That's funny, huh?
Next item, Amy Dwyer received a call that she's no longer going to be using that rental space, so that would come off our agenda. Keith Ross, I suspect.
Was there a reason that Amy isn't renting there anymore?
I believe it might have been loss of job or something related to that. Or
Like lots of a
reduction.
big job?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
usually-
recall, is that the one that was at Bay State, Falls Bay State building?
Yes, that was Bay State Lawn Building.
That's not the one with the weird dry goods and the... Okay.
No.
No, this is the one, this is one of the
The tea-
units that
the
we're gonna
tea
rent for
storage?
glass doors or something like that. I guess something changed in their business, so,
Okay.
um,
I think,
Paul said that they weren't gonna rent it. Keith Ross had sent an email in regarding a street sign request. I don't know that he's here, he isn't. I know I did call him, didn't get a call back, but it's been a chain of emails. And I guess that street sign, whether it be missing or what, is going to be replaced. I don't know if anybody's got any questions on that. They saw the emails going back and forth. It's not an approved it's an approved subdivision. We haven't accepted it yet, but I guess they're in the process. I did read one of the emails. They're in the process of trying to get it accepted.
So what we'd have to do there is we'd send the review engineer back out there to verify that all the signs that are on the plan are in place before we can accept it.
Okay. I couldn't find out, he didn't call back, so I don't know if the sign was not there, never been there, or it was just stolen.
Ed says here that he ordered a new sign, so he knows that it's supposed to be there, so I think he's making sure that it's in,
Compliance.
thank you, that's the word I was looking for, as, and that he's getting the as-built plan already. So I think that it'll be fine.
Okay. Next item is meeting minutes. Seems to be about a half a dozen pages of meeting minutes. I know that I've read them. I'm okay. One of those, you had a problem with, Amy. I don't know that you got back to Joanne to make a correction. I don't have it in my, do I have it in my notes? I don't have it in my notes from last.
Was it from last meeting that because it's been a while now, so.
Yes. Want to start with the August 6th meeting minutes. The regular session minutes that are ten, 12 pages in. This was the public hearing. We had an appointment, and yes, this was the public hearing minutes. I reviewed them, and I didn't see anything that was unusual. It's kind of difficult when you're taking notes. Does anybody have a problem with that? Please look at the back of the meeting minutes are there's a bunch of notes, reminder and agenda and all that stuff, which is going to be incorporated in the minutes and the bylaw.
So did you guys all get a thing for September 3rd and the executive session?
Yes, but there's two. Let's start on August 6th.
All right.
On August 6th,
That's the big one. Sweet.
August 6th, there should be two. There should have been,
That was what I had emailed Joanne about, is that I had never received the hard copy in my file and my folders of the executive session minutes. I think that was what I was
Okay.
asking about.
all right. When I do this, because we opened the meeting, we went right into the executive session. So,
But that's supposed to be the folder.
yes, August 6th. And this is going to pertain to, I don't believe you were here, Mark. Let me see. So that's going to be Rick, Amy, and myself, and Gordon, you abstained. So let's start with the August 6th.
I don't have a copy of those.
It should be in your folder, today's folder.
Yeah, they're
I
not.
don't have any.
Can
Wait a minute.
we can talk, which one are we doing, the regular session or the executive?
She sent them by email. You know what? I'm assuming because she...
I had them on my email, I looked at everything on my email before.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't have it hard copied.
Okay. You want to take, this is the hard, I thought she put this in a folder.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
didn't have it last meeting either.
This is executive session. You want to look at it? I mean, I'm okay with it. You want to take a quick look?
All right, I already went through.
You did it, Amy, do you want to look at that?
I did have an addition, but can I publicly do that, or?
No.
You had two different executive sessions.
The
was
August
two.
6th executive session.
Right.
That's still in the court, right?
Okay.
Alan?
I think, I gotta look at it again. I don't know if that one's been resolved.
That's the first one.
I'm confused
It
on
was
which ones are
the
resolved.
second
and
one was
open.
resolved, right?
What was the one that we did in July? Because that's the one that I have an addition to.
If we did one in July, it would have already gone through. I don't recall that.
Was it July or August?
This is the first one that we had in August, and we had another one in September.
Because you
All
had
right, let
that
me look at
meeting and
this
then
and
we
make
went
sure
into a
that this will
regular session.
determine it for me.
You had that meeting and then we went into regular session after.
Correct, and that would be
And
the,
this,
that's the big long one, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so we'll do the open, the executive first, get that out of the way.
I'll just write my changes on them, on it, and then you guys can look at it. The August 6th one is the one that we have.
Okay. Okay, so you're okay? I don't have a problem with what you added. It's my suggestion, we'll sign these and,
I'll wait for it to be updated and then I'll sign it.
all right, that's fine. Rick and I, well, what I'm gonna do is this. Where this was an executive session, there's only gonna be 3 members that are gonna be voting on this. And I'm gonna take a roll call on the approval of the executive session meeting. So I'm looking for a motion to.
I want to wait and see how she writes it up, or if she's going to write it up exactly how I wrote
Okay,
it.
well, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take a vote, okay? If you don't wanna vote for it, then you don't have to, and when she makes the changes, we'll revisit it. I'm just gonna get this thing moving. Plus, this one here, I believe, is resolved. So, what I'm looking for is a motion to approve the executive session minutes on August 6th with,
The exact way I just wrote that?
yeah, with Amy's Troop's amendments, which are in pen. I'm looking for that motion.
I'll second it as long as it's exact verbatim, what I just wrote.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Okay, and, okay, I got to do this. motion is made by Rick Murray, second by Amy Troop. I'm going to take a roll call vote. Amy?
Yep.
Rick?
Yes.
Alan, yes.
We can initial right next to the change, that'll take care of it.
Thank you. The next item is going to be the August 6th regular planning board meeting minutes, which is a public hearing.
Alan,
Does
did
anybody,
you say that you're releasing those minutes?
these,
I don't think you should.
we're releasing what minutes? These?
Those executives.
No, these, if someone requests them, they can be released because the litigation is ended. All
I
we're
don't
doing
think
is,
that is.
all we're doing is,
I don't think that litigation is. Is it?
okay, that I'm not sure. So what I'm doing is, we have the meeting minutes approved, the secretary will make the adjustments, and then if someone requests them, it's beyond me to tell them whether or not they can have them. I honestly do not know which litigation is over or pending, so that's a decision that's gonna have to be made by someone higher than me. But we approve them.
I just don't think you should make the comment here that it's over. I don't think that is. I
If
think it's the
if I-
next one.
Okay, if I made a comment that it's over, I think my comment, and I'll clarify that I'm not sure what's over, but they're still gonna remain executive sessions until litigation ends. Now, August 6th, regular meeting minutes. Does anybody have an issue with those? I'll be
I
looking,
don't.
okay, I'll be looking for a motion to approve these minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Okay, I'll take a regular vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let me just pass this around. What my left this time. August 6th, I'm sorry.
I'm just, there's, some things that are attached to the meeting minutes. Do we have see what I mean? Like.
Correct, I mentioned that. Some email correspondence.
Oh. I'd like a copy. Can we let Joanne know? I'd like a copy of what is attached to the August 6th minute.
Just let her know that. And you don't have to put a public record request, but just let her know, and it'll reflect here that, I believe that they were in that email, but if not, just check your email. I think they were. If not, just ask her for a copy of those, the attachments. Okay, next order of business is the meeting minutes from August 20th. They were discussions on Franklin Street, Pine Street North, and some other comments. Does anybody have any issues with these meeting minutes?
Which
Then I,
ones we do?
pardon me?
Which ones?
August 20th. If we don't, then I'll be looking for a motion to approve these minutes.
Just a second.
Okay.
Did she send those out? Was August 20?
Yeah, she sent out 5 or 6 of them.
All right, yeah, just. Thought I read.
It seems that we've discussed these, we looked at these before.
Yeah, it was okay.
I'm looking for a motion to approve these minutes.
I have an addition, under the discussion for 111 River Street, that Sarah Stern stated that 61A supersedes 40A.
Okay, you want to clarify what your,
So on the second page, so the,
second page, okay, I see that.
Sarah Stern stated that 61A supersedes 40A,
What paragraph are you in?
under the first paragraph, before Andrews confirms.
I'm missing something. First paragraph,
Okay, I'll show you. Just right there.
oh, it's not on here.
No.
Oh, I'm looking for it, I'm saying, oh.
Yeah, sorry, I said addition.
So,
To add in.
Yes.
so just say that one more time.
Sarah Stern stated that 61A supersedes 40A.
You can add it, it has no bearing on,
I just,
I don't
it
know, did
was a very,
someone ask the question if it was 61, because 61A is an agricultural status.
right,
You know what I think? I think you might be confusing it with, does the marijuana facility have a farming exemption? There was some discussion about a farming exemption. You might be misremembering that as 61A is an agricultural exemption.
but there's also a lot of laws that are in 61A that pertain to the farming, and she stated it, and I found it to be something that needs to be put in the minutes.
Okay.
She just, you can actually wait till next meeting, you can look at it on the video.
Well, I recall, I think the question come up, was everybody was here for that, right? The question come up is whether or not the marijuana establishment, okay, had the same exemptions as farming. And
And
they do not. So is that the
Well,
conversation?
it is a farm, she stated, but it is regulated under the marijuana, but she did state, it doesn't matter, I just want this to be part of the,
Okay, here, just,
she stated it, I'm not saying that the marijuana district, the marijuana.
Just pencil-
I agree, it should be added, whether she was right or wrong, or whatever it had to do, if she said it.
yeah, just add it, because, yeah, I don't recall,
I don't think I was here for it, I'm just saying,
yeah.
Unfortunately, you weren't. She
Yeah,
was- she was
61A is just the agricultural exemption for taxation.
Well, there's also laws that go along with it.
With farming, yeah, there is, and, you know, how much acreage you have, but there's no question in the legislation made marijuana, though they do not fall under any agriculture exemptions.
Right, but Sarah Stern stated that, and I wanted to
Okay,
make that clear.
just add it, that's fine.
I did.
You sign them, and then we'll sign them, and she can,
Let me make sure on anything else. With that change, I'll be fine.
We'll make sure that she adds them.
Well, why don't we'll just sign them at the next meeting, right? With the updated change.
If you want to re-sign them, I just assume get these items onto the agenda and move on to, but it's up to you. You can add them, you can sign that if you don't, we got them, we're gonna have a
Well,
motion.
this is my copy, so I'm keeping them. Oh, did we motion to approve these with the change?
Do I motion it? Well,
Motion.
you make the changes and then we'll motion it.
I already made it. All right,
Okay.
motion
I'll look-
to approve the meeting minutes on August 20th, 2020 with the addition on page 2.
Do I have a second? Second,
Second.
gentlemen. Do you guys want to read the amended section before you vote? You want to read, or you want to just say what you're going to add? Oh, you're going to add the 61 in. I'll just read it. We're going to add to the discussion, Sarah Stern's would be second page under the first paragraph. Sarah Stern stated that 61A supersedes 40A. So we have a motion. We have a motion. Amy made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Gordon's the second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Next item on the, is the meeting minutes for September 3rd. Those would be executive session meeting minutes. Those present were Mark, Rick, Amy, and Gordon. You recused himself. Did everybody get a chance to look at these minutes?
Yeah, I'm surprised that they do minutes for these. We always have.
You always
have.
Always have. Every board meeting has to have some sort of minutes.
Yeah, I just don't ever remember doing them for executive sessions.
We didn't have a lot of executive sessions back then. Anybody have any issues with this?
Yeah, can I talk about it in front of the thing?
You can talk about it, the problem is Gordon's got to leave the room. So if you want to discuss it,
Oh, we're doing the executive? I was on the other one,
no, we're doing the
sorry.
executive.
But like,
My bad.
Gordon has to recuse himself.
yeah, we're doing it.
I think you're gonna go into executive session, don't you?
All right, forget it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, if we discuss it, we'd have to go into executive
So
session.
you're not making it public.
Because we
We would.
couldn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Would.
I couldn't even discuss it.
Yeah, and we can't, so if you got an, let me do it this way. Is it an editorial comment?
Probably not.
You're on camera too.
Yeah,
That's
what I'm
okay.
saying. I can't. It's
Um,
fine. I have no issues.
Okay. You have no issues. This being an executive session matter, I'm going to be looking for a roll call vote. I'm looking for a motion to approve the executive session minutes of September 3rd.
Make a motion to accept the meeting minutes for the executive session of September 3rd.
Second.
I'll second it.
Going to go into a roll call vote. Amy?
I'm not ready yet.
I'm sorry?
I'm not ready yet.
Oh.
Okay. Rick?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Yes. Ellen is yes. So, let's approve ESC 10. 1, 2.
You just need the one.
Well, that's your copy. Yeah, that's your copy. She gave me a folder, I'm putting it all back in this folder, because I'll get in trouble if I don't.
Yeah,
I'll have you-
usually there's stamps on
Okay.
Oh,
All
All right, yes.
okay.
it. Tells which one's which.
This is, I'm gonna put everything back in this folder. It'll keep me out of trouble.
You only sign one though?
Don't you only sign one meeting minutes?
No,
Sure.
We usually do
we
two.
We
usually
usually do too, that's what I'm saying, usually they're mocked, and you got draft, official.
Because the town clerk keeps one copy and the.
Okay, all I can tell you is what I've got in the folder.
I got, we'll just sign this one further then.
Okay, so we're gonna have to do it on all.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure too.
Okay, so, all right. This is executive session. We're gonna start right from now. Why wouldn't she have put two in here? Maybe it's just a mistake, okay? That's what you just signed with me.
Yep. Sorry, that was a slide. Thank you.
Okay, let's go back to August 20th. Does someone else have an August 20 meeting minutes that will all sign?
I just have it on email.
We got it on email. Let me just see. We needed to sign.
We always have.
Okay, Amy, do you have one?
What?
The August 20th meeting minutes?
I do, I usually keep all my files, though.
Okay, you don't have a hard copy? Well, then we're gonna have to re-sign them, because I don't have a hard copy either. I've got them all in email.
Just get another one at the next meeting.
Yeah, we'll
You
all
can send us another one, maybe.
Copy, I put an official stamp on it.
Okay, next order of business is going to be the September 3rd, 2020 meeting minutes.
That's the one we got tonight.
Does anybody have any questions, comments?
Yeah, did the guy from 72 Pond Street ever get that typo fixed?
Yes, they did. Oh, I know, Rick had gone in, I know I signed, then I didn't hear any more, so I
Oh.
assumed.
I signed too.
You signed it, okay, yeah. I didn't hear any more, so I assumed it was all
No,
set.
well done.
There's so much going on, I forgot to sign that.
when everyone's ready, there will be an open motion to approve the meeting minutes for September 3rd.
I would like to say that in the so it's the fourth page, and it starts, the paragraph starts, Troop states.
Fourth page, go ahead.
Troop states, about 2/3 the way down towards the right, Troop responds that it's because Dave was talking about it and had a question, so she gave him the answer, but can give the property information for the whole street. I think I said, Troop responds that Dave asked her for it is why it was sent. However, Amy Troop can send the information for the whole street. It's a little
You're on
different,
the
but it's-
paragraph, it says, Troop states that this was not ever put on the agenda. Is that where you're at?
Yep, so it's basically not the last
2/3.
sentence, but the second to last.
Yeah, third full line up.
Troop responds that it's because Dave...
It's sort of really bad grammar-ish.
Well,
So what I'm saying
Troop
is,
responds that it's
Dave
because...
asked her for it is why it was sent. However, Amy Troop can provide the documents for the whole street. Because he was trying to single me out as I only had information on Paradise Properties lots, which was not true. I had
So what do you want to make for comment? This is why, when you start getting into the verbatim stuff...
This isn't verbatim. This isn't a
Well,
hearing.
I mean, she's going by the tape and going by, I guess, the tape.
I'm just correcting
and
what it
the
is.
recording. So
Yeah.
what do you want? You want to make an editorial change?
Yeah, I can email it to her and we can sign these at the next meeting. I don't know if anybody else has anything else.
Okay, what do you want to say here? Just say-
Troop responds that Day asked her for it is why it was sent. However, Amy Troop can send the documents for the entire street.
Are you reading something in? I don't find that here. I don't find what you're reading. Unless I'm on my...
So what it
That's her
says here-
proposed change.
Oh,
I was
okay.
reading my sheet. You did it again. We did that the last time. Troop responds, so how it's written in the minutes is Troop responds that it's because Day was talking about it and had a question, so she gave him the answer, but can give the property information for the whole street. I think that it's better read, and what I meant was Troop responds that Day asked her for the document, is why it was sent. However, Amy Troop can send the documents for the entire street. I can send that to Joanne since it's a little more lengthy in the morning. She can update these minutes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It'll be a little
I think it's
easier.
essentially, it says the same thing, rewords it, so.
But it's a
Reword it,
little
that's
clearer
fine.
the way I
Yeah,
wrote it
that's
Yeah.
because
That changes.
Okay.
So she got it wrong what was said at the meeting?
it's just a little, it's a little confusing how she wrote it. That's all.
Okay.
I'll just send it to her.
I'm going to, in this folder, I'm just going to highlight what you're talking about. So she has it. Okay, I'm going to have to ask, unless the board wants to, I mean, we have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes. So does the maker of that motion want to withdraw it, or you want to approve it subject?
Yeah, I can amend my motion.
Okay.
Wait a minute. What is this? Diaz apologizes to Attorney Ade about the correspondence item, 2520, the email that I sent him. He asked me for that. I'm not, why would you apologize for that? He asked me for that.
Where are we at?
This is under the motion. Second paragraph. It says Diaz
What page? Hold on,
apologizes.
what page are you on?
Page 4. Diaz apologizes to Attorney Day about the correspondence item 82520, the email from Amy Troop with 4 attachments regarding property assessors map 10 lots 965, 966, and 67 being placed on the agenda, and adds that this property will no longer be discussed. that doesn't need to be apologized for as
No.
Attorney Day.
What
There needs to be separation in that then, because Attorney Day asked me for that information and I sent it.
My apologies had nothing to do with what,
But it reads like that,
No.
so I need that to be.
my
fixed.
apology was because there was an item on Pine Street North on the agenda, and then down in the correspondence section,
That needs to be rewritten.
well.
Yeah, but he's
no,
saying,
no,
but
you
you did.
need to
but he-
listen.
But, hold on. Amy, but he did apologize. Like, he did say those things.
But not about my email, because Attorney Day asked me for that information, so it can't be on the same line as an apology, because it looks like he's apologizing for my email, and that's not.
If you look at that agenda, under the correspondence, it had specific lot numbers, which I did, when I reviewed the agenda, I didn't realize that this assessors map 10, 965, 66, 67 were the same items that were on there about Pine Street North. That was my apologies.
But you can't apologize for my email that I sent.
I apologize because those items should have been condensed.
Yeah, so I think the
That's
way
all.
it reads is that he's apologizing for, skip quote things, being placed on the agenda.
Correct. Because,
I think it does read correctly.
yeah, it
It's
does
funky,
read correctly,
but it's-
because I didn't notice that Pine Street North was on the agenda, and that Pine Street North business was in relationship to 965. When Attorney Day made his
Is that-
presentation, he said, let me just finish. When Attorney Day made his presentation, he said the Pine Street North was on his agenda, and then this other section about lots number 965, 66, and 67. When I looked at the agenda, then I realized that they were the same, and it should have been incorporated. That's all my apology, so there's no reason for me to change this. So I think that's what I said.
Wait a minute, which lot is the one that was really supposed to be on the agenda that we got from Larry Costa last May? What was that lot number?
You got the emails, I don't know.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, what was that lot
I
number?
have no idea.
Because I'm not I can't tell you right now what that lot number is off the top of my head unless I know that.
But here's the question, is the issue whether what he said was wrong? Because I think he said it. So like, whether he was right or wrong, that doesn't mean it should be stricken from the record.
Oh, correct.
Like, what we say is what we put on record, not, we're not really fact checking. We're just saying whether or not it was said.
Well, it makes it look like he's apologizing for something I did, and I didn't do it.
I think that's your impression, but I think
Yeah, I
the
don't-
rest of us agree that
I don't,
it was just placing, what was on the agenda must have been some email from you regarding these lots. And unfortunately, no, I don't have that other agenda, so I don't think it needs to be corrected.
I disagree.
Okay,
I'll listen to the meeting.
okay, listen to the meeting. If you don't agree, then you can obviously abstain from voting or vote no.
I'll make a motion that we approve these minutes of September 3rd, 2020 at our next meeting on October 15th.
Okay, the motion was withdrawn. His motion to approve the meeting was withdrawn. So I think the agreement was that we're going to make the editorial changes as you indicated.
I just
Put
need a
them-
motion to approve these at the next meeting. Does anybody second?
yeah, to give time, hold on,
But
we're just making the motion to give time for the
Yes.
changes, right?
Yeah. No, so that I can look at the video and decide a few things because I want to know.
I don't know that you need a motion. I think we're in
No,
general
but
consensus
I
that we-
understand, the reason for making the motion is to keep us from taking the thing, because if she wants to wait for the changes, and then we just vote the thing without the changes, she doesn't get a chance, but if she puts this
No.
motion,
Thank you.
We're not going
Right.
to vote.
Yes, thank you, Mark. I'm asking for
as
change.
long as we,
I'm asking
Can
for
I inter-
time.
Yeah,
Can I
go ahead.
interject for a second?
Yeah.
So if the motion is withdrawn and we table these to the next meeting, doesn't that accomplish the same thing?
Correct, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
okay.
that's what I'm trying to do. Okay.
Okay, meeting minutes.
That's it, right? For meeting minutes.
Yep.
Yes. One other item that we've got is that we need to have I believe this is the one, August 20, sure. August 2020, approval and signatures. Okay, those are meeting minutes. We have a bunch of correspondence. I don't know how much you want to get involved with all the correspondence. We can take them individually, and I'll start with them. We got an 8:30. First of all, did everybody read the correspondence that came through on the emails?
Yep.
Okay. We had one on August 31st from Jessica Palveri. It was addressed to Town Hall. I can get into the meat of it, or no, it doesn't really matter to me. We have, everybody's read it. And I guess for the public, her complaint was the Attorney General, and the Attorney General basically said they don't have jurisdiction on what the complaint was, and we don't have a copy of that complaint. On 9/8, there was a response from Attorney Mayo regarding the open meeting violation that was complaint that was filed by Amy Troop against myself and Alan Diaz. That response is in there. I don't think we need to read that into the record. 9/28, there was an email from the building department on the status of Pasture Lane. We discussed that previously in the discussion. 9/28, again, was a letter or an email regarding the sign, and that's been temporarily resolved. We'll see in a few weeks if the sign gets up. 9/29, and I didn't see this email until today. We had to pass over the floodplain bylaw for some reason, and it might be good that all of us members take a look at that email and look at that new bylaw. I believe it's going to be the selectmen that make the decision on it, but we probably should have some idea as to what changes they're going to make.
Yeah.
Decision letters, we got one from Hanson, Pembroke, East Bridgewater. I think there was a couple from Pembroke. Anybody have any questions or comments on those?
We don't have copies of them, we're in here. Oh,
No. The email
I
was
see
very-
them, I see them.
Yeah, they came in through the emails.
I didn't get to review these ones.
Okay, well, they were on, Hanson had two on marijuana. I think they approved a marijuana dispensary. Pembroke had one, which was on adequate access. I'm involved with that, so I'm not gonna comment too much on that. And I think East Bridgewater had, was that a 40B in East Bridgewater? Just take a look. That might be a typo. Because I saw Hanson and Pembroke, I didn't see anything on East Bridgewater. I believe that's a typo on the agenda, because we did have one, we had a site plan approval for Pembroke. We had a,
There is one on East Bridgewater.
It was East Bridgewater, I think it's Mark Ritter's.
Mark Ritter's was Hanson.
Was that Hanson?
So unless you saw something I didn't see.
There's a East Bridgewater, yeah.
The marijuana establishment is on the Hanson-East Bridgewater line, unless it says something there, but that's Hanson. Let me see. I mean, I've got the decisions here. And I see
215 Whitman
Pembroke.
Street. Special permit.
What is it?
A special permit at 215 Whitman Street in East Bridgewater.
Okay, that did not make the folder. I don't believe. I don't know if there's any issues with it. We can, hold on. Let me just look at this file, this double file. Yes, it's in this one.
Now, what was the one, adequate access?
Right. On the East Bridgewater one, it was a change in use from a church to a 5-unit residential use. I don't know if anybody's got any comments on that one. question?
You said there was something on adequate access?
Yeah, on, one on Crescent
Which is in Pembroke.
Street in Pembroke.
It's the second to last one, so the sixth attachment.
Yeah. Okay, and I can give you a little rundown on that. I'm involved with that one, but it's strictly an adequate access for a 3-lot subdivision on paper streets.
In Pembroke?
Correct. Just let me know if anybody's got any issues with those. You guys still looking? Anybody got anything else on this?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so we'll move on to other business. Amy, you all set?
Yep.
Okay, we'll move on to other business. Complete Streets Program, we are gonna have a meeting on that on October 15th at 7 PM. I did reach out to the highway surveyor, figuring that he would know which areas that we has the greatest need. He felt as though the intersection at Pine Street and Plymouth Street, they've had many accidents on that stretch of road. And he is potentially looking at coming up with some, whether it be a blinking light or something coming off of Pine Street on Plymouth Street.
Now, Pine Street's the one that's not 105, right across from where Circuit Street comes down?
Not before Circuit. If
Okay.
you're
But
coming
it's
off the
Elm
Thompson,
Street that touches 106, all right.
yeah, it's coming off the Thompson.
But it's a four-way, right?
It's a four-way, correct. For some strange reason, in the last few years, there's been a multitude of accidents, trucks, cars.
More than just the past few years.
Oh, it is? Okay. So that's one of the things that the highway surveyor would kind of like us to look at. And he said that Holmes Street and Oak Street intersection, there's been a lot of accidents there.
Because it's a wide intersection.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd type intersection. It is really wide, as Gordon said, and it's really not straight across, so.
Yeah, but the visibility increased so much after they redid that.
Yeah, they didn't get the visibility they're supposed to get.
No.
That road should have been cut down more. I
Yeah.
guess they ran into issues with the gas meter or whatever.
Yeah, if you come in off
The
of
water
Oak,
main, actually, I think that's why they had to do that.
if you come in off of Oak out of Pembroke, and you'd be heading east, and when you get to 36, where Kenny Calvin used to live there, that's very difficult to see that way. I don't believe that they're looking at making any major changes in the intersection. He said that he had some great success putting a blinking red traffic light on the end of Walnut. So hopefully, guys can look at those intersections and maybe with
Yeah,
somehow we can,
realistically, I think it would be better served to have red flashers at Pine and Elm than having anything on 106.
correct, yeah, you wouldn't, you wouldn't
There's
be.
no reason to slow.
No, you wouldn't be, no, I can see that. It would
I
be,
don't know if I agree there's no reason to slow traffic down.
yeah, yeah, if he was on the street. I think Pine ends there, and then Old Plymouth begins across the street.
Yes.
No, I think
I don't know,
Pine
it's
goes
weird.
to Old Plymouth.
Pine does go to Old Plymouth? Okay, all right, but those are the areas that he thought needed immediate
It's
attention.
always tough cutting across there.
Oh, yeah, when you get from, if it's Pine there, and then you got Old Plymouth coming in with any piece of equipment, you can't see it, but, so, we probably ought to,
He's not talking about Pine and Old Plymouth, he's talking about Pine and 106, right?
Yeah.
9 and 106, something there. So, it sounds like everybody's a little familiar with it, so hopefully we can discuss that with her. Next item is going to be the signature authority. And I'm reading her memo. I don't know how it's been done in the past, but the question is whether you want to have one person sign payroll or you want the board to sign payroll.
What?
Payroll or?
It says here-
Where do we sign up for payroll?
Oh, you
Let's
have,
get
Do you
this
mean
first
bills?
step done.
You mean bills, Alan, invoices?
No. I got a letter here. In compliance with Mass General laws, the town accountant's office must keep on record the signatures which are authorized to approve the payment of bills and payroll for each department, board, committee, or commission. These files need to be updated each year.
Well, we don't have payroll.
Okay.
but you have to-
I'm
you
just,
have to have
let me just finish
signatures.
reading the letter and comment. Each member must print and sign the name on the form. If you choose to designate one member of the board, committee, or commission to sign payroll bills, that a person should fill in the appropriate section on the signature form, same for the alternate. So if we don't have any payroll,
No.
then I
So-
guess we would do it.
So what this works for is, when we have to pay a bill,
Yeah.
we have to vote the bill. Now, what's happened in the past was we were doing the virtual meetings, so nobody was in the office. Typically, 3 people sign the bills. So what happened is, there were no bills for anybody to sign. So they came out with, you could have somebody designated to do that. You still have to vote the bills. The person can't sign for it unless the board votes it. But that one person could go into town hall and sign that. So
So,
what we found out was it made more sense to have 2 people, one person to do it and then an alternate, just in case that person couldn't do it. So last year, what we did is we had 2 people designated to sign that.
so why don't we continue with the same, especially during COVID, so they don't have to go around. So, I guess my question is, who wants to sign?
As long as Gordon and Amy don't mind doing it, work out the best.
I don't have a problem.
I don't know.
We just take a vote of the board.
Mark's making the motion.
Yeah, make a motion to approve Gordon and Amy for signing and having all authority for fiscal year 2021.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, Gordon, you sign the first line, Amy signs the second line. Did you see this on the agenda? I'm just a little confused. One member signs and dates the one, and all members sign. It's, okay, it's just in between. Either we're gonna have all members or just one member sign.
Okay.
Any signs on the email?
Yes. Well, wait a minute, you gotta sign up top, right?
All right, so I don't know if that actually applies to us, but we can just have either one of them sign it as far as I'm concerned.
Is it alternate
No.
underneath that?
Okay.
Yeah, so, and then the alternate, and then here, which is what they're talking about with the one member signs and dates the warrant line.
Okay, it seems to me, and I clarified with Charlie, we should have filled out the top section. Charlie, can I just ask you on this?
What?
Yeah, because if we're not, it's not, I think the bottom section is payroll. On the signatory section, should the top section be filled in by, just for the bills and the bottom for payroll?
Well, it should be, yeah. You have 2 different sets of signatures.
Correct. This should be just for bill.
Well, this says everybody signs this section. It lists the full number of people who are on your committee. What you're doing down here is then saying that it's going to be only one person or the alternate signing for payroll, and then if you designate someone to sign the bill warrant, it's that person. But everybody signs up in the boxes.
Okay. Okay.
Where do we sign up for the payroll?
Yeah,
It's down below.
we should have go to that first.
Oh, goodness. Started this wrong, and I should have let somebody else do it. I screwed up, what I say was a bit. You gotta change that. You're gonna sign the bottom section.
And the top, right? Because we all signed.
Bill top and the bottom.
Oh. Can I spell the name wrong?
Now, the following memo. Print the vendor warrant. On the vendor warrant side, we're gonna put two names on the vendor warrant. That form is just an old form, so you can sign it up top, and then Gordon will sign it. And Gordon, if you don't mind, at the bottom, put your name on there, and I'll have Amy put her name, so just leave some space, because we have two people signing vendor warrants. The form's only set up for one.
I signed the other one like that, just so she had something on her end.
I think I gotta have Amy sign at the bottom, right? I'll sign my name at the bottom. I think our last order of business is going to be Comprehensive Country Club Estates, the 40B project. Charlie, do we have any idea if that's going to be moving forward on the 14th?
No, it won't.
It won't.
No.
Okay.
The ZBA has said that they're not going to start the hearing until everybody convened in person.
Okay, all right, so there's no need to post any agenda for any members that are coming in. Now, I don't know, Gordon, you might have seen anything. I have not seen any of the,
You didn't get a book? Oh, well, you're not
let
looking.
me finish. There was supposed to be an engineering report that was done when the application was submitted.
And we got copies of the stuff originally.
Well, we got a
Here,
copy,
that
we have a
one.
copy of the original submittal.
Yep.
I think all the departments got that. I know the Board of Health, we haven't seen any septic plans, but I thought that there was when they submitted it to the ZBA, they were gonna have a consultant review it, and that was gonna be sent to the planning board. Or maybe I stand to be corrected.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it. Is that the procedure though? Were they looking for the planning board's input on,
The zoning board's looking for input, yes.
okay, but we don't have any review or
You
anything.
know, Alan, everything's online, including the report from the review engineer.
Everything is online? Okay, all right, so everybody should make note of that. And if anybody's gonna attend, it'll be on a,
Wasn't that the binder that we got that was like this thick?
no, that binder was the complete submittal as to what they wanted to do.
Okay.
And then
So
once,
that's not the review?
no, the review would be after they reviewed all of that data. But what was concerning to my other position, the Board of Health, they had not submitted any sufficient septic plans, which to me is kind of unusual. And the plans that they did submit, they are not going to be approved in the way that they are. So I don't know if they.
Why, just out of curiosity, since we're talking?
It's really not on the agenda, it's just, there's some issues with the location, there's issues with the type of system that it's in, storage capacity, so forth and so on. And we did send a letter to the review engineer. I'm sorry, stand corrected. We sent a letter to the engineer indicating that we had those concerns. To date, I have not heard that they responded,
Okay.
so. Is there any other business before the planning board tonight?
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Okay,
second.
We have a motion to adjourn at 8:26. Do we have a second?
Yep.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.